All Business Media presents the Professionals Roundtable. Hear what's hot in the professional world. Timely topics to propel your career to the next level. Professionals Roundtable with Christopher Celery. Exclusively on All Business Media.
Welcome back to All Business Media. I'm your host, Christopher Celery. Joining me now from New York, New York, the Big Apple. She is a certified life, career, retirement, and creativity coach. She does it all. And the owner of Good Life Coaching. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Sharon Good to the program. Sharon, welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Christopher. How are you?
I'm doing well myself. Thanks for asking. Also, thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day to join us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So why don't you start us off? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, I am sort of the generic title is life coach. And as you mentioned, my specialties are working with people on career and with a specific focus on helping people find a new career path. You know, we're living in a time where people want a sense of career fulfillment, and there are so many choices now that sometimes it's really hard to figure out what's going to make you happy and what's going to work for you on a practical level. So I work with a process called the life purpose process, where I help people to do a deep self-exploration process. And from that material, we cobble together some career possibilities that they can then research and figure out which one is the best for them. And interestingly, that also translates for retirement because aside from the financial aspect, which we hear about all the time, one of the biggest things that comes up for people when they retire is, what am I going to do with myself? And the same life purpose process also helps people to figure out what types of activities will be fulfilling for them. Because most people when they retire these days are still pretty healthy and active, and they don't want to just go sit in a rocking chair for the next 20 or 30 years. And my other specialty is creativity coaching. I come from a background in the arts. I was an actress for a number of years and a book publisher and a writer. So I relate well with creative people. So I also help people with their creative projects or creating a business for their creative work. So that's basically the kinds of things I work with.
Alrighty, now what actually got you started in doing what you're doing?
Well, interestingly, I mean, I did a lot of personal growth work myself for a number of years, took a lot of classes, read tons of self-help books, and love absorbing that material. And I kind of reached a point where it really made sense to look at, well, now that I've got all this experience and this knowledge, what am I going to do with it? And one day, almost 21 years ago to the day, I read an article in a magazine called the New Age Journal about coaching, and it featured Sharon Richardson, who's become very well known now as a writer and a speaker. And I kind of read the article, and I said, I think this is my next career. So we were on the tail end of our publishing at that point, so I was finishing up our last book, and I started researching coaching and found some programs and started training as a coach in September of 1997. So we're at about the 21-year mark now. And from there, it evolved into doing some teaching. So now I also train life and career coaches for the Life Purpose Institute, NYU, the Creativity Coaching Association, and I also do some personal and professional development classes at the 92nd Street Y. So it just kind of, once I got on track with it, it evolved and brought out the different parts of me. And I also continue to do some writing. I have a second website called Good Life Press where I publish some of my work, and working on a book right now, as a matter of fact. So it's a lot of fun for me, and it's very cutting edge. Coaching is really popular right now, and a lot of people are getting on board either as coaches or as coaching clients. So it's just been a wonderful development over the last 21 years, and it's been very fulfilling for me and just a wonderful career at this time of my life.
All righty. Now, when a client does reach out to you for the first time, what are the majority of them actually looking for?
For me, again, it's mostly people who are looking for a new career direction, and they're confused, or they don't really have any ideas, or they have some ideas but they don't feel confident about them. And then I also work with creative people who are developing their creative careers. So those are the two areas that I focus on. And as I mentioned, with the career explorations, it actually goes anywhere. I don't work with teens or young adults, but I've had clients anywhere from mid-20s up to 70s, depending on what stage of life they're in. Because, in this day and age, people don't just get into a career and walk away with the gold watch at 65. People change careers several times. We evolve, and people want new career directions from quarter-life crisis to midlife to retirement. So there's lots of opportunities for people to find exciting new directions for themselves.
Alrighty, and where do you see yourself in the near future? What's on tap for you?
Well, I am kind of really riding on this wave right now. As I mentioned, I've been doing it for 21 years, so I have a nice client base, and people find me, and I have some nice teaching jobs that I love doing. Some are webinars, some are in person, so I get that variety. So I'm really just continuing with that, and those things always evolve. We're developing new materials. With the Life Purpose Institute, I also am director of curriculum, so we develop the materials and I manage the manuals. And I'm also working on a book project myself, which I will publish myself, and have a couple of others on the back burners. So those are the kinds of things that keep me going and just kind of keep my creative juices going.
Alrighty, and now what is the best way for my audience to reach out and contact you if they want to find out more information?
The best thing is to go to my website, which is www.goodlifecoaching.com, and you'll learn all about the different services I offer. You can read a bunch of articles that I wrote when I was doing a newsletter, and there's certainly contact information there. So if you see something you like, I do offer a free introductory session, and I'd love to speak to anybody who's interested in exploring coaching.
Alrighty, and do you do it over the phone or, over the internet or anything like that for those that are outside of the New York area?
Absolutely. Yeah, I meet occasionally with people in New York City, but I do the majority of my coaching by telephone, and I also can do video conferencing through Skype, Zoom, or FaceTime.
Alrighty, well, Sharon, it's been great having you on the show today. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Christopher.